Hello, it's Foon from hustlecastle.site. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the best build for the best ancient set, Dragonborn. Now, I get requests for content about meta squad setups all the time, and I've tried to make this type of content before. The problem is it changes, so I don't even finish researching the video and it's out of date. But I think if we just talk about one fighter, then this should work. So if I'm going to do just one fighter, it's obvious who it should be, Dragonborn. Quick preface, Dragonborn is an ancient set, so obviously this video is pretty Throne Room 11 focused, but there might still be some useful nuggets of info mixed in if you just want to let it play while you play. One thing I do want to say to the pre-TR 11 players watching, I really don't recommend spending diamonds on specific gear from the dragon or donkey if you are pre-TR 11, because that stuff will all be useless next time you level up your castle. The exception would be for those who are parked at a low throne room level and really plan on staying there for a long time, but you guys know that strategy better than me because I never did that to give advice there. Okay, so Dragonborn is a crossbow-wielding archer ancient set. It is a new-ish set. It was added at the same time as Cultist, Reaver, and Pyromancer, and pretty quickly dethroned Bane, aka Doom. Let's open up that one. As the king of archers. Dragonborn is so much better than Doom that if you have a Doom now and you just switch out the jewelry to Dragonborn jewelry, it'll be a noticeable improvement. Some people even say the set is broken, it's so powerful. I'm not going to say it's broken, I'm just going to say that it is must-have. If you don't have a Dragonborn already, you should make one. It is must-have. To build the set, the materials are regular, like the original ancient sets. You get each of these different materials from playing different aspects of the game. The hardest materials to farm are these bundles of kindling. You have to get these from the portal. Let's look, because it's actually still open. So you have to get these from these bottom chests down here. Take note that these chests that are up top have different materials. Where are they? Here they are. You will never get Dragonborn materials from this chest up here on the top. Also, the orange materials from Dragonborn, getting back in there. These are from the djembe, so they are easy to farm, but it just takes time. The thing about Dragonborn is though, even if you can't make the whole set, even a 2 out of 4 is going to be better than almost anything else. So get started and use whatever you're able to make as soon as it's off the forge. Okay, that's enough about the set. How about the setup? Now, the reason I'm able to make this video is because there's a pretty universal Dragonborn that virtually everyone uses. That could change, but right now it's remarkably universal what all top players have decided is the meta for this set. So you can come visit my castle. The easiest way to do that is to find my clan. This is the easiest way to find someone like me where you know what clan they're in and their clan is in a top 100 clan. And then, you can find me and then, come visit. But again, this isn't my Dragonborn setup. This is what everyone is using. It's evolved over time with everyone copying everyone. So you can also just visit any of these top players. Also, stocking players in the arena ranks is a good way to see what the best players are using, but more on that later on. Okay, so let's look at the base gear nearly universally used on all Dragonborns. Let's go top to bottom, starting with the weapon. There are 2 really good crossbows in this game, the alien crossbow and the rapid fire crossbow. From what I observed, and forgiveness if I am miscrediting anything, the best thing about Hustle Castle is its community, and I try to give credit everywhere I can, but like anything, normally it's a lot of small contributions along the journey, but from what I remember / observed, just over a year ago, Lembretta from Hustlers tested out both crossbows and concluded that on its own, rapid is better, but with Rune of Confusion, alien is better. And from then on, alien spot as #1 was really cemented in, so you will almost always see alien crossbow. At this point, both those crossbows are really old, so they're both for sale by the dragon, and this should be high on your dragon shopping list. She's actually, oops, no, she's gone. I'm going to be adding a lot to your dragon shopping list in this video, but I will repeat the advice I give in any donkey video. Don't spend more than you are comfortable spending. That is the quickest way to feel like you need to quit the game, and then if you quit, that money really was just thrown away. The dragon's inventory so far has always just had more added to it, so get what you can this month, and then next month she'll be back and you can get the next thing on your list. Okay, so for weapon, okay, so For weapon, we want the alien crossbow, and you want to put the rune of confusion on it, as I alluded to a minute ago. This is a nice rune in a few different places. It's just a good rune overall, but this is where it goes. It goes here. There are places to be creative in the setup. Not everyone needs to have an exact copy of the current meta squad, but this rune goes here always. And the weapon soul. This is an arena soul, and it has been at least a year since it's shown up in the arena store, so you might not have it. I only have one of these, but I do have a spare second Dragonborn fighter. She's over here. So my spare uses this common regular soul. That's the good news. If you don't have the crit arena one, then you probably have this one that, in my opinion, is your next best choice and really common. The same effect that Lego normally uses would also be a good second choice if you happen to have this effect in a crossbow. And in fact, the Lego one is for sale right now. I would pick this up if you don't already have it. Little disclaimer, Lego's popularity is going down right now from a must-have ancient set to just a good ancient set, but it's still a good set. And this is the best soul for it, so I would grab it here while it's here. Okay, so that is the weapon. The weapon is really universally set what everyone uses. Now let's move to the armor where there's more space to customize to personal preference. The meta Dragonborn is a 4 out of 6 Dragonborn with a 2 out of 6 tank armor and soul. This keeps him alive because your Dragonborn is your MVP, and once he or she falls, that oftentimes means that the battle is lost. So you want your Dragonborn nice and tanky, ideally with 1 million health. Which tank set, you ask? Whatever you like. People never believe this, but the ancient set that you use on the armor really doesn't have a universal best choice. In my opinion, the best tank sets at the 2 out of 6 level are Eclipse, Bastion, and maybe Paladin. But many also use a different tank set just because they already had it. Honestly, most of the time, no set's 2 out of 6 ability is going to make a noticeable difference in your squad. Dragonborn is probably the only one. So pick whatever you want for the tank set to craft the armor. However, the gear you use, this does matter. The correct answer is Celestial Baron Plate Mail. This is from the Celestial event and also for sale by the Dragon. This armor protects the wearer really well and triggers really fast. For a while, Elf armor was the standard here, but Celestial Baron has overtaken Elf. It was also popular to put Wolf tank armor on another fighter to get the Wolf's protection on your Dragonborn. With the switch to Celestial armor, Wolf's armor protection became redundant, and you don't see Wolf as much anymore. And for the armor soul, you want increased health. Pretty much anytime you have tank armor on a fighter, you want an increased health soul with it. Increased health is a regular ability. You will find it in chests throughout the game, and you can get lucky and craft one. But you will not find this in the arena store. Increased health is not the same as restore health. Restore health heals health that is already down, while increased health increases the maximum health capacity and fills it with full health. Just an objectively better ability. Now runes. The rune of tenacity, let me find it. This rune here is arguably the best tank rune in the game. And many give this rune to Dragonborn because Dragonborn is the most important fighter on the team. I have personally decided to keep this rune on the crab armor that my Blade King is using. And on my Dragonborn, find him again, I am using the rune of fortification here. I also see the rune of frenzy pretty often. I have mine on my Palamage. Yeah, this is the rune of frenzy. I also see this a lot on Dragonborns. So you have a little bit of flexibility here in terms of which rune you want on your armor. Okay, let's move on to jewelry and artifact. Now for the ring, I have gone with the classic choice of the Dino Ancient Ring. This ring has been considered the best archer ring for years, but there are other acceptable choices here. The Way of the Trickster ring, I think I saved it here. This is also really popular, and I actually have been meaning to craft this and try it out myself. The Royal Fury ring, which I don't have, I think that was a Royal Challenge item, is also a nice choice if you have it. And there are two common rune choices on the ring. Really popular, really classic choice is the Electric rune, that's the one that looks like a lightning bolt, or the Rune of Accuracy, that's the one that I have. Now for the amulet, this is one of those things that's pretty set. You're going to want the Durangel amulet because the timing on this amulet works really well with the artifact, the Ghostly Aids. Again, both are in the Dragon Shop, and this stuff, add this stuff to your wish list to get when you can. But again, I don't recommend going crazy buying diamonds with real money. There is no rush to get all the stuff from the dragon. The game is not more fun after you have collected everything. It's honestly more fun when you're still working at it. So anyway, this is a combo, these two things together. The artifact should have the rune of speed on it, and the timing with these two just works great to keep your Dragonborn protected. The rune on the amulet, I have the rune of keen vision, and which is what pretty much everyone else has too. Okay, lastly, the totem. I am using the standard totem. Remember that totems work like the old arena artifacts. The name, in this case lion, and ability have nothing to do with each other. Mine is the unit has a 25% chance of their attack healing them. The amount of health restored equals 75% of the damage done. I'm also seeing the deer totem here a lot, which is once in a while the damage is increased by 50%, blah, blah, blah. That was one of the items 2 donkeys ago where there was a red, blue, and green chest. I went for the red chest and I made a video doing it. Anyway, I don't have the deer totem. If I have the chance to get it, I would probably pay maybe $10 for it, knowing that this is something that is, being used pretty universally by top players. For $25, I might consider it. Maybe if I, already have something to drink. For anything more than that, I would not bother. This is just a totem. And honestly, it's hard to even know if it's actually better, or maybe those who have it just want to use it because of how expensive it was. I'm looking at you, Incinerator, in your very expensive dress. Yep. Okay, but if you're lucky enough to have the deer totem, then I would use it here on your Dragonborn. Or if not, the one I have is common and you probably have it, and that works nice. When you're picking out your totem, the ability is the most important, but also do take a look at these things here. You see mine has magic damage, and that is literally doing nothing, and spell power. These two are doing nothing to help my Dragonborn, and actually neither is accuracy because of the ability. I really chose this one because it had health, and that's about it. Okay, I want to visit some castles with you guys to show you, really how everybody has very similar Dragonborn setups. So let's start with the number 1 player in power in the game, in here. Let's go stalk out his castle. Okay, see if I can guess the Dragonborn just looking. Yep, okay, so here we are. Now, I have not looked at this ahead of time, but I know this is going to be Alien Crossbow with the Rune of Confusion, and there it is. Yep, and that same Arena Soul with the crits. This is going to be Celestial Armor. Yep. And an Increased Health Soul. Yep. This is going to be the Durangula Amulet. Yep. With the same rune that I'm using, actually. Ghostly Aids with the Timing Speed. Yep. And the ring, again, I'm not sure what the ring is going to be. It is the Trickster ring, the one that I said that I'm thinking about trying out too. And In, who has everything, has the deer totem. Okay, so yeah, pretty much like exactly everything I've said. Okay, let's try, that's the number 1 player by power. Let's look at the arena ranks and see what that person has. Again, I don't even know, who is at the top of the arena ranks last season. So we need the arena, the leaders. The season is still going on. We can look at the top player from last season. And again, we're just going to go take a visit to their castle. All right. Is that a crossbow? Nope, that's a ranger. Here we go. Now, let's see. Alien crossbow with Rune of Confusion. Yep. The crit Arena Soul. Celestial Armor. And here, Rune of Frenzy. So, that's another rune here. One of the 3 I mentioned, Tenacity or Frenzy. And then, Increase Health Soul. And now, down here with the jewelry, we can see this player does have the deer totem, which I don't have. The artifact, Ghostly Aids with the speed, Durangula Amulet, yep. And the ring is the one that, there's a bit of different choices here. Let's see what they are using. Okay, they're using the Trickster ring again, same one that In had. And now here we see the Lightning Bolt rune. I actually didn't look too closely, but I think they had the same rune as me. Okay, so yeah, again, just randomly pulled out a top player and you see this pretty much universal setup. Let's go visit one more. Let's pick someone high on the ranks that is sort of like Hustle Castle famous. Pick somebody. G-Man, yeah. So here's another player that we know is going to have good stuff available to them, and it's going to have a good setup. I'm guessing you. Yes, okay. All right, so alien crossbow, rune of confusion. Oh, okay. This is really cool, proving me right. This is not that arena soul that everyone has with damage increasing at each crit. This is that really standard, common, just normal increased damage soul that I showed is the one I use on my second Dragonborn because I only have one of those arena souls. So, you know, if it's good enough for G-Man, it's good enough for any of us, really. Okay, going to be Celestial Armor. Yep, and again, Rune of Frenzy here. Maybe I should try Rune of Frenzy here. Increase Health Soul. And now down here, we're going to see Ghostly Aids with the Speed Rune. Durangel Amulet. Yep, and the same rune here too. And the ring, this is one of the ones where there's different options. And G-Man is using the same one as me, the classic Dino Ancient Treasure Ring that's just been a standard great archer ring for years. And G-Man has the Deer Totem, of course. Okay, I think that is enough. Stalking kind of, I think, drives home the point pretty well that like you can just pretty much pick any top player, go stalk out their Dragonborn, and you're going to see like very, very similar setups. So that's where I have the confidence to say this is, you know, good standard, you know, meta Dragonborn. It's not just like what I think, it's what, you know, pretty much everyone is doing. Okay, so that is all of the base gear. But as I think I've mentioned once or twice, your Dragonborn is your MVP. So in this fighter, you want to pump them up with attributes for all the bonuses you can. Let's go to this evolution screen and specialization. This is where you use manuscripts that you collect from the Dark Cathedral. This could be its own video, but basically you really want to do DCs and level these up. It makes a big difference. You upgrade everything because what you want is this level 10 bonus here in the middle. And then after 10, just upgrade stuff you really want for the bonus. So for example, like some of these I did kind of by accident because this is my first one. But yeah, health and magic armor is great, but like I don't need magic pierce. Like that will do absolutely nothing on a non-mage. You know, and some of these though, if I did want to, you know, increase, you know, different armor, I might put these up to 11. Now, I'm not going to do it now, but with this reset button here, I don't even like want to pretend to touch it. If you hit this reset button, you get everything back. So you can completely transfer all of these manuscripts to another fighter with no loss. It would just take like 5 minutes to click all the upgrades over and over again, which I don't feel like doing. But I just want to emphasize there is no risk here. Do not wait to be more sure you have your alliances the way you want them or you have just the right level fighter. Just start this. It is so easy to move it later if you get a better fighter for your better talent for your Dragonborn. In this other tab for the enhancements from Elixirs, these you can also reset and get back all of the elixirs you've spent, but it will take time to get all the mana you need to apply them again to another fighter. So it's not no risk, but low risk. You'll just lose mana. If I wanted to change this fighter, I would try to time that with the hammer event where it's easy to get lots of mana to speed the process. Anyway, again, Dragonborn is your MVP. So you want to max out all of these. Well, obviously not magic damage. That does nothing when your fighter's not a mage, but basically everything else. Let's go through them. So damage, that's pretty straightforward. You obviously want to pump up the damage as high as you can on your Dragonborn. Magic damage, if you give magic damage, elixirs, or gems to a fighter that is not a mage, it will increase the power number, but it will not apply. It literally does nothing. It kind of just disappears. So yeah, do not fill this up. It will actually, in a way, kind of even hurt you. Health, armor, and magic armor, obviously we want all of those because we want our MVP to stay standing. Crit. Crit matters on your archer. It matters because we have that rune of confusion that triggers on crit. I can look at that for a second to remind you. Yeah, so we want crit to trigger this, and we want crit to trigger this. So crit absolutely matters on Dragonborn, but it doesn't matter everywhere. I really only like crit when it is doing something to trigger another ability. Dodge, actually I could fill this up. Because of Dragonborn's set ability and because so many people use skirmisher talents, dodge has become much less important in the game, so I just haven't bothered, but yeah, I could fill this up. Spell power is just like magic damage. It disappears if it's not a mage, so I don't want that. Fortitude, these last four things here are like anti-abilities. Fortitude makes it harder for someone to crit against my Dragonborn. Accuracy makes it harder for someone to dodge my Dragonborn's attack. Pierce counterattacks armor, and Magic Pierce counteracts magic armor. So Magic Pierce, same reason of all the mage stuff, I don't need that because I have no magic damage that my guy's doing here. Accuracy, I have not filled that in because this guy's talent is Skirmisher, and basically Skirmisher's ability is already that you can't dodge my attacks. So this wouldn't do anything, which is why it's not filled in there. These last four attributes are new, and you especially want to invest in these because you'll get more effect. With all the attributes, you keep increasing them. As you keep increasing them, you get diminishing returns. So like, for example, if you add a bit of armor, you'll filter a noticeable amount of damage. But as you keep increasing armor, you'll never get to a point where you're filtering 100% of damage received. The graph kind of levels out at the top. If you want to know more about that, I have a video about armor where I graph out all the formulas and really dive deep into analyzing it. And real quick before I move on, Pierce here is exceptionally really good. And I would totally max this out first thing. It makes a huge difference. Okay, so that is Elixirs. Elixirs give great bang for the buck in terms of the attribute bonus for the increase in your historical power. I'll talk more about historical power in another video. Subscribe to see that when it comes out. But TLDR, you want to be focusing on Elixirs and Dark Cathedral manuscripts over gems. Though gems too, as you saw, all the players we stalked have DBs covered in red gems. And I guess the only other thing to talk about would be rolls. Of course, you want to re-roll your MVP to have high rolls and everything. I'm not going to explain rolls here, but again, I have a video on that. I will put all the videos that I've mentioned in the description below and at the end screen, and maybe even on top right now. I think some of these things work on desktop, some work on mobile, but if you want the info, I will try to make it as easy to find as possible. Okay, so I think that's good. Do watch my armor and reroll video to get deeper on those topics, or if you've never seen my damage video, it's actually the first video I ever made, but it's really a favorite topic of mine. And understanding how damage works for me was like the gateway to getting obsessed with game mechanics, and it's just cool to understand and will also help you understand other aspects of the game better. I've got my diamond giveaway info on the screen now. Leave a comment with your game ID on any video. And every week I collect all those entries, and 5 random winners get 250 diamonds, sponsored by the official Hustle Castle community. Okay, I will see you guys over there in the next video. Ciao.